of this teaching of religious science, of getting to know the truth of my being, I am so grateful and I am so opened up. So I come from my heart center now and I listen with my heart today. And as we release this prayer into the law, we know that it is done. It has set the way for us for opening new experiences and ideas. We let it be so, and together we say, and so it is. So I gave you a handout that has a whole bunch of things in it, and those you can read at your leisure. On the right-hand side are some different forms of what we believe, the membership application, etc. Also letting you know, how many of you here have ever taken a Science of Mind class? You can raise your hands at home too. Okay. So membership, we request that folks have taken a Science of Mind class in order to become a member. But if you haven't, that's why we have this, what we call Discovery class. And the point of the Discovery class is just to talk about the clockworks of religious science, just to talk about what it is that we believe, who our founder is, and etc. Does that make sense? So I was going to read from what we believe, and you will find that right in your, I'm going to set this microphone down for a second. You will find that right in your folder of what we believe, and I'm going to read that just so it's the shortened version. We believe in God, the living spirit, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. The manifest universe is the body of God. We believe in the incarnation of spirit, in humanity, and that all individuals are incarnations, of the one spirit. We believe the ultimate goal of life is to be complete emancipation from all discord. We believe that the highest God and the innermost God are one God. We believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of humanity, and that anyone may become a revealer of the truth. We believe the Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind. We believe in the eternal goodness and the eternal loving kindness and the eternal givingness of all of life. So Ernest Holmes started this, and you'll see a little history in there. It's on the left-hand side, not the first stapled part, but the second stapled part. There'll be a little history of New Thought teachers. It started with Phineas Parkhurst, and he was a great influencer, and it was back in 1802. So 1802 to 1886 was Phineas Parkhurst. And it went on with Ralph Waldo Emerson, Mary Baker Eddy. Then there was William James, Thomas Troward, Emil Cady, Emma Curtis Hopkins, Charles Fillmore, Emmett Fox, who we've heard about from the Golden Key, and on the back, Joel Goldsmith, Yogananda Paramahansa, and Ernest Holmes, who passed away in 1960. In a brief moment, we're going to watch a little video of Ernest Holmes from a program he did back in the 1950s. It's a little bit choppy and crackly, but it's just interesting to be able to see Ernest Holmes. The teaching of science of mind is based on the fact that we live in a spiritual universe, and that it has intelligence, purpose, beauty, and order, and that there is one life, and that life is God. If we remember from what we believe in the direct revelation of truth through the intuitive and spiritual nature of humanity, and that anyone may become a revealer of the truth. And what that actually means is that we're all revealers of the truth, as that the truth is what we express in our being and knowingness of God. We're a choice every moment with the thoughts that we create. And the idea of religious science is that as you open your mind, and that mind is inspired by the mind of God, because we're all created of God, we're all part and parcel of God and expressing it. Each one of us is an expression of God. So as we think our thoughts and expand our thoughts into a greater awareness of the good of the universe, more good is produced, because it is not by ourselves that we are doing it. It's done by the law, or Lord, as you will see in the Bible. God is the source and substance of all creation. Nothing exists outside of God. So our lives, as we lead them, the more we are focused on a God-centered life, the more things open up for us through love and joy and peace. It doesn't mean that things don't happen to all of us, but it does mean that we are experiencing greater good in our life because we're allowing greater good to come in, and we're seeing greater good in our experience. Oh my goodness. Let me just find I do have I think what we'll do is we'll start to watch the video now, if that's okay. Grant, are you with us? Okay, so we're going to see the video right up here.
This evening, I am going to talk to you about a power for good in the universe, greater than you are, greater than I am, greater than all of us. A power for good that we can use in everyday life, for everything. When the greatest teacher who ever lived said, "It is done unto you as you believe," what do you suppose he was talking about? This mastermind was talking about a spiritual power in the universe, something so close to us that it is indeed nearer than our hands and feet, closer to us than our very neck vein, as the old Talmud said. And so this power is not something we have to go in search after. It is something that is right here, close, nearer than our very breath. How then would we use a power that is so intimate? Certainly we should have to use it in an intimate way, and we would certainly have to believe that the power exists, it's for us, not against us. It is willing and not reluctant. We should actually have to believe that it really is done unto us as we believe. Then we would have to believe. What is belief, anyway? These are the things I want to discuss with you tonight, how it is that we could use this power for good, greater than we are, wonderful, the thing the whole world wants more than anything else in the world. Thing that you and I have for the taking, for the asking, for the using, power that responds to us according to our conviction in it. Power that is used in our own mind, in our own thinking, right where we are. How close and how intimate such a power is, and how wonderful it is just to believe that we're going to learn how to use it. First of all, just what it is, then we're going to talk about how to use it. Then we are going to actually get right down and use it in our everyday life. First of all, the power that is bigger than you are and greater than I am is, of course, a spiritual power. Just what do we mean by a spiritual power? We mean something that is invisible, of course. We don't see it. We don't touch it. We don't taste it. We don't handle it. We don't weigh it. We don't measure it. But we do feel it. Just as you feel beauty, just as you feel love, just as you feel anything in life. This power, greater than we are, is a power for good. It responds to us if we have faith and confidence in it. Now, throughout all the ages, people, of course, have prayed, and their prayers have been answered. They have prayed with faith. It doesn't make any particular difference what kind of a religion they have had. That power has responded to everyone in the way he has used it. And that is why Jesus said, very simply, very directly, "It is done unto you as you believe." Let us then analyze this saying of Jesus, that it is done unto you as you believe. And suppose in doing that, that we pause after this little word "as." Seems like such an insignificant word, but it's the key to the teaching of this great master. First of all, he said, "It is done by a power greater than you are. It is done unto you by this power." You don't do it. Who has the power to create life? You and I did not make life. We did not create it. We did not think up ourselves. We awoke to the fact that we lived. And we looked about and wondered, what in the world is it all about? Why am I here? Is there anything in the universe great enough and good enough to come to my rescue when I need it? Quiet me if I'm disturbed, to bring peace to my mind if I am disquiet? Is there really power in the universe greater than I am? And is it good? And can I use it? And Jesus said, "It is done unto you." There is a power that operates for you. And how does it operate? It operates as you believe. Now suppose we try to analyze just what do we mean by belief. It's a peculiar thing, but it's very important. We do not believe a thing just because we affirm it. I might say I believe there is an elephant here, but there isn't any elephant. I might say there is thunder and lightning here, but I know there isn't. Belief is something that our own mind does not doubt. It is something that we ourselves inwardly do not deny. You can tell right off if you believe what you're saying. Shakespeare caused one of his characters to say, "My words fly upward, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts cannot to heaven go." So you and I do not have to study very much to see, do I believe that there is a power greater than I am? Why, of course we believe it. Some mysterious thing which we call gravitational force holding you and I in place right now where you sit in your home. I'm standing here by this podium. I do not wonder whether or not this power is going to hold me in place. I walk a little to the right or to the left. I change my position. Always I am certain there is a power greater than I am holding me in place physically. Now all I have to do is just to transpose this and say there's another kind of a power. It is greater than I am. It responds to my belief, my faith, my confidence in it. And as soon as I establish this, then I must be certain that I actually believe. Now probably this is the key to the answer to every prayer that was ever answered since time began. The prayer of faith, of conviction. Again, the great teacher, the great metaphysician, the great wayshower, he said, when you pray, believe that you already have what you're asking for. You know, Jesus didn't say, God or this power will be displeased if you ask for a loaf of bread, and as a matter of fact, he fed the multitude. He did not say, God or this power doesn't wish you to have any enjoyment in life. He spoke of a joy which would complete ours. He said, it is done unto you, but as you believe. Therefore, he said, when you pray, believe that you have. Just believe that you have. Is it so hard to believe that we have? We believe that tomorrow will come. We believe that the sun will rise in the morning and set at night. We believe that the ocean and the tide will be there, and the moon. We believe the grass will grow. We believe that our food will digest. And who is there who knows how any of these things happen? Did you ever stop to think that the united intelligence of the human race, all the scientists living, all the philosophers, all the theologians, everybody put together, does not know how it is that a hen can lay an egg? Nor does it know how it is that a chicken can come out of an egg. Isn't that amazing? All we know is we set the hen, and the chicken does come out of the egg. This is the mystery of life. This is the mystery of faith, the power greater than we are. Jesus did not say, what is your particular religion? Spoke to every man in his own language. Just believe, and it will be done unto you. It seems too good to be true, doesn't it? And you and I will never know until we try it, as we're going to at the end of this short discourse. We're actually going to use this power, you and I, for a definite purpose. I'm going to use it for a definite purpose. You are. We'll watch and see. But let us be sure that we believe, just as we believe our food will digest, just as we know the sun's going to rise in the morning, just as we know that the world is still around, just as we know that you and I do not know how it is we can eat ham sandwiches, drink milk, tea or coffee, and have it turn into flesh, bone and sinew and blood and marrow. Everywhere we look, we are watching the mystery of life, the riddle of life. Someone has said, and I think rightly, that the riddle of life is understood only by him who knows that God is good, who makes a ladder of his faith and climbs from sense to soul, finds no line between mere human goodness and divine, but judging God by what in man is best, with a child's trust, leans on a father's breast. It isn't so hard to believe. We just haven't thought how easy it is to believe. And you know, if we just take it that way, and we'll say, yes, the world is round, I am held in place by some power, and now I'm going to believe in another kind of a power. It actually exists, and I'm going to try it. And then when we stop to analyze what is belief, what is faith, it's very simple. This is one of the great hurdles, however. People say, well, I just haven't got that kind of faith. merely because they think you're talking about something that's impossible. We're only talking about that which is completely possible, which is completely simple and direct, and something which you, in the secret place of your own mind, sitting there alone, you know it as well as I do. We all believe. We just haven't quite thought practicing our belief until something really happens. And then we have learned that while something in us rises and says no, the belief isn't complete, and what do we do then? We just reaffirm that belief. You know, the mind has a very interesting quality. It acquires habits through repetition of thought. And the person who will really take himself in hand, understand this, and say, even though there might be something in me that right now doesn't believe what I say, my words may fly upward and my thoughts remain below, I am still going to train myself. I know that this can happen. I know that there is a power greater than I am. There is nothing in me any longer that's going to contradict it. And quietly, sort of easily and gently, and I think flexibly, you know, did you ever stop to think you live with yourself most of the time? No matter how many there are whom you love, it is yourself that you live with all the time. It is yourself you're going to have to learn to be a good friend to. There is one who is a friend to all of us. And let us not say, am I good enough to use this power? Why, of course we are. The rain falls on us, doesn't it? And the sun shines for us, and the wind blows for us. There is no God who denies anyone anything that is good and right. So using the faith we have and believing in the power greater than we are, we sort of begin to expect things to happen. It would be a very interesting thing, even if it were only a game we were playing. How fascinating. How wonderful to believe that out of that which up until now perhaps we had thought was a wistful wish, a wishful dream, something that couldn't quite be true, out of all of this we have longed for and we have yearned for and we have wanted. Isn't it terrific? Right now, maybe those dreams can come true. Right now, maybe the desire of our heart is already met in some divine intelligence that knows the beginning from the end, just waiting for our cooperation. So we would be trying the most fascinating experiment we have ever had in our lives. That dream, is it difficult for an infinite power? That hope, is it too much to ask for? That yearning and that longing, do not we have a right to expect that whatever the intelligence is and the power that put us here certainly knows how to take care of us? Perhaps we just haven't believed. Now we're going to practice believing. We're going to say to ourselves, yes, there is a power. We can use it. We will use it. And then we're going to be intelligent and we're going to figure out how to use it until we ourselves believe. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you and I knew that there is nothing between the right desire of the heart, the yearning of the mind, the longing of the soul, and that which might be but our own belief or our own unbelief? And if that is so, then we have the proposition where we can handle it. For you and I can control our thinking. And we can come to the place, if not instantly, then certainly we shall come to it gradually. but it doesn't matter how we get there. We are going to come to a place where we believe in the power greater than we are, believe in ourselves because we know it, and believe even right down to the method we're using, that our own thought, our own meditation or prayer, whatever you choose to call it, will convince everything within us that seems to doubt. And perhaps out of all the doubt and the yearning and the longing, you and I will come to know there is a power greater than you are, than I am, and we can use it. Now, friends, we're going to use this power very simply, very definitely and directly, and we're going to try to believe that it is done unto us as we believe, and we're going to try to just let go of every doubt or uncertainty, every lack of conviction, just because it's a power bigger than we are. We can trust something greater than we are. We don't have to trust ourselves. Now we call this meditation, and meditation is something you do to yourself, something like this. Suppose you just get still a moment. Let's even close our eyes for just a moment. Kind of shuts us out from these things that disturb. And let's say, I really believe right now, down deep in my heart, there is a power for good. This power is directing me because it's intelligent. I shall know what to do. I shall be directed. There will be some impulsion, something that will tell me what to do. There is an intelligence, you see, that actually knows. So let's turn again to it and say, every thought and idea that is necessary to the accomplishment of the good thing I desire, which expresses a more abundant life, and which brings only good to everyone. It's all happening to me now. Now that's quite simple, isn't it? But if this power is here, if it works the way I'm sure it does, then it works on the simplicity of our own thinking. It isn't profound words. It isn't any spiritual gymnastic we go through, just like a child. It's guiding me. It's directing me right now. Now let's again turn our thought inward, close our eyes, and let's say, each one of us, that we greatly desire that we shall bless everyone we meet, that we shall bring happiness and joy to every situation. Let's believe that it is true, and then it will be true. And it's true not because you and I know very much. We're very ignorant. But there is a power, and it does work, and it's working right now.
Switch microphone. Yeah, this will be better. Yeah, this is a better one. I got a little taste of Ernest Holmes. Was he what you expected, or did you ever see videos of him before or hear him before? He's quite interesting. And it's, I know it's an old video and it's kind of grainy, but he kind of basically broke down science of mind in a very easy to understand way, I think. We're going to move along here. We're going to have questions at the end in case anybody has questions. But next that we're going to talk about is the value of membership. For those of you watching a video and right here in the room, the value of membership is to me very important. I came to the center for a long time without becoming a member, and it all of a sudden shifted in me that it was not only just an organization, but an actual center becoming a part of this center, Redondo Beach. As you see when you're here on a Sunday, the energy that you feel and just the camaraderie and the connection, the inspiration from like Reverend Catherine's talk. I almost called you Dr. Catherine. Reverend Catherine's talk today, and in your experience with Dr. Moira and all the different ministers here, Reverend Martha and our sound people and everybody. It's just a very inspired place, and it's really geared towards the whole principle of this center and this teaching is geared towards finding a greater you, a greater expression of you, and life-affirming way of living. And it's a wonderful place to be a part of. And I think once you decide to become a member, it's a different level of commitment. I mean, and it's also a show, not just a commitment to yourself of growing, but it's also a commitment to the center to say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be a part of this energy and make it all together. And I know, Reverend Catherine, I think you wanted to speak a bit. So, you've got a microphone. Okay, perfect.
Just wanted to say a few words about the Ernest Holmes and the talk. I've actually seen this talk about twice recently. Again, I've seen it a number of times. I was teaching a class about Ernest Holmes, and we had a guest speaker during one of the classes. He was there for an hour, and he told a story that, I mean, when you've seen this video over and over again, because we have the magic of all of this video, but for a long time, all of Ernest Holmes' talks were just lost. He had been filmed. You might have noticed in the credits how it was kinescope or something like that is the way that it was filmed. And then there was some technology that got developed I think in the 80s, I'm not even quite sure, that enabled them to put it on a film like this so that other people could watch it. And Jesse Jennings, who wrote the book called The Essential Ernest Holmes that I was using in the class, and he's still alive. He's a minister at a church in Houston. He's very active. And he happened to be at the center the day they were watching it for the first time. He said that he walked in the front door going, hello, hello, is anybody here? And nobody was answering. The doors are all wide open. He can't find anybody anywhere. And then he goes to this dark room and he sees these people huddled around a little teeny screen. So he tiptoes up closer, and this is what they were watching. And all of these people had not been alive when Ernest Holmes was alive, and this was their first time to have heard him. And so it was just an exciting experience for them. So this is the only one that's left, and so that's a wonderful thing. Ernest Holmes this was in 1956, I think it said. He passed in 1960. And when he passed, he was living in this area. And the LA Times wrote a big obituary for him and talked about his success in the science of mind. And it said in there are 62 churches. And I thought that was interesting. So I quick looked it up. Now, there's 251. Plus, in addition, it's not the same organization it was at his time. We actually have things that are called focus ministries. We have ministers who go around and do different work, one-on-one. We also have places that just teach. We are a center. We're a full-blown center. And we have been a center since 1947. So we're 75 this year. 75 years of being a part of Redondo Beach and bringing this teaching. So we absolutely believe in the brick and mortar way to teach. And we are so glad to have a different way to meet people. Just as the folks would never have seen the video and seen Ernest Holmes speak if it hadn't been for the fact that technology moved forward to enable that to change. So we're changing as well. And I invite the people who are watching on our discovery class and discovering things about Ernest Holmes to consider how important it is that we maintain that kind of ministry. And I want us to just grow in that so that we enhance that in ways that I haven't even thought of yet. But I know when you make a commitment to doing something, that things unfold. That's how this teaching got to be the way it is. I believe in the power of Science of Mind classes because when I came here, which wasn't until the 90s, I sat back there with my family watching these, and I remember thinking, wait a minute, we're listening to Dr. Frank, and they'll say, wait a minute, I don't, what do you mean by that? I don't understand what you mean by that. But Dr. Frank has gone on. He's doing a 20-minute talk. And so it wasn't until, I think the thing that really got to me was keep saying, there's the law of this, there's the law of that. And I keep thinking, where are these laws written down? Where are these laws he keeps coming up with? And so it wasn't until I started taking classes, I started going, oh, because it gives you a chance to raise your hand and ask questions. What about that law? What about that thing? Wait, I don't understand that. And so classes are wonderful, whether you take them online, whether you take them in person, whether you take them in community. It is important that you get to ask the questions that you want to ask. So you're tailoring this teaching to you. Because there is no one way to see God. There's no one way even to see Science of Mind. And so being a part of this is something that I very much want to see you do. And I love the life of Ernest Holmes. I love the way he was even in life. And I'm going to close with this one thing about him. He was very captivating as a speaker. I read that. When he would rent these halls, he would fill it up to overflowing and have to go to a bigger hall. And he was always puzzled by, I'm nothing special. What are they coming for? And he really didn't believe that it was him. He believed it was the teaching. He believed in the power of the teaching, however it gets transmitted. And I tend to agree with him. It is the teaching that brings us back, that helps us, makes us want to belong. We join because of community. And that's what Reverend Mary was talking about. There's a togetherness. There's a chance to, this is what I think. What do you think about on one-on-one? It's a wonderful opportunity. So that is what I wanted to share, my own personal view. I came to this teaching later in life than some. I know ministers who started in their 20s, and they've been ministers for 30 years. I did a lot of other things before I became a minister. There's all kinds of ways to do that as well. And so those are the ideas that I wanted to share. So, and I thank you for your time.
You'll see in your handout, the actual center here, I believe, they broke ground in 1970, but the smaller version of it was back in the 40s, like Reverend Catherine said. So it's got a little interesting. Oh, it wasn't here. How? Okay, so yeah, because I know the groundbreaking. They'll show in there how they created the beehive top, and then they created the groundbreaking. And I happen to have met the man, Howard Van Euclin, that helped Dr. Frank design this actual facility, and it was crazy. I met him in a line at a restaurant in Pasadena, and I was standing there going, he goes, we said something, we were chit-chatting about something. He said, you're this is an interesting conversation we're having. And I said, yeah. He goes, well, what do you do? Like, I said, oh, I'm a minister in religious science. He goes, oh, where? And I said, Redondo Beach. He goes, I built that church. Out of the blue, I meet this guy that goes, I built that church. So we sat, I know I have goosebumps with saying it. When so I sat down and had dinner with him, and we were in what do you call those? A cafeteria. It was like a cafeteria thing. It was called Beatles in Pasadena. It's no longer existing. But so as we were sitting there, I went there to see a friend of mine that was a musician, he and his wife. And he came over, he goes, what do you guys strike up a big conversation with? And he goes, well, Mary here is a religious scientist, and I built her church. He goes, you're kidding. And this was, his name was David Wilcox, and his wife. And he said, oh, you're kidding. He goes, I'm a practitioner. And I was like, what are the chances that all of us were like coming together out in Pasadena? And that's how it is. It's like a lightning rod that kind of keeps folks going. But the thing is that it's such a beautiful teaching because it honors every person, and it does honor the fact that, you know, how you think will create. And the more you train, it's like a muscle, it's like any muscle. And the more you train yourself to say, I know things may not look so hotsy-totsy right now, but I know that I can change them with my faith, and I know that there is that power that I can use. So that's what's so beautiful about this teaching, and therefore becoming a member and being together in community with like-minded people is so enriching, because even if you're struggling with something, you go, oh man, I'm in a pickle about something, and you can talk with people and they get you. You know, so it's a wonderful way to meet people and to share ideas, etc. I am going to invite our Melissa up forward, and Melissa is our board member, and she is going to talk to us about tithing, or the value of tithing. Okay, here you go. Thank you, Melissa.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Melissa Hoyt. Just like your house, you have bills. We have a huge old building bill, so you have to have money coming in. And it makes me feel good to know that my money is coming here for the lights, the power, the community we can build with all of it. And I used to give every week when I would come, and then I'm like, oh, I don't like to write that many checks. So I go to once a month. I have friends that just say, this is how much money I can give a year, and give it for the year. However you can work it out, and whatever you feel you can give. But it's so important for me to have this place to come. I've met so many good friends, good community, and it just warms your heart. And I want it to be able to last. I don't want the lights going out. I don't want the plumbing backing up. I want to help to be able to make sure that we have the building going all over. And also volunteering. I started off mostly volunteering. I like the garden, so I met great friends doing that, and we're always looking for people to help with that. If you're handy, you can fix things, or you want to learn to work the camera or the audio-visual, work in the bookstore during the after services. I mean, we're always looking. Anything you can do, I'm sure that we can use your help. So just whatever moves you. And the people that you meet, and I mean, you've seen that, right? The community that we create together. It's just wonderful.
Thank you, Melissa. She's right. You know, the thing about tithing, I want to just make a point that, you know, they say that as you put things into circulation, it always comes back to you. And I'm sure you found that in your own experience. They always say tithing 10%. It breaks down to that number one, and that comes back to you in so many ways. And that the tithing actually really helps to support this center, helps to support our youth group, has all kinds of things it does. And it's also a sense of then it becomes your home as well, because you've contributed to it. It becomes your home. And the membership or the volunteering is, we're always welcoming volunteers. And you know, when you're volunteering, you do meet a lot of fun people. And also then, again, you take pride in the fact that, hey, I built that, or I helped film that thing, or I did this, or I did that. So there's all kinds of ways that you can share your energy and then therefore meet other folks as well. So I'm going to open it up now to, you've got the your membership package, etc. If you want to become members, and there's a membership form in there, you go ahead and sign that, and we'll move forward from there. You can turn those into the front desk. You don't have to do it now. You can do it on Sunday or whenever you feel moved to. But at this point, I want to open it up to questions, if anybody has any questions. Yes. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Oh, there
Great.
you go.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here, and I have paid my membership a month ago or so, and I was aware that I was a little resistant. I've been coming for about a year now. I'm not new to the principles by any means. Been in Unity or Church of Religious Science for decades, actually. So anyway, I have never experienced a church that asked for membership dues. And I was curious. I think I hesitated for a while because I was kind of skeptical or unknowing about what was going to be done with the membership money. So could you speak to that, please?
Sure, I can speak to that, and Reverend Catherine can as well. And the part I'll speak to is that the membership is $35 a year. That $35 a year also gives you 10% off on the bookstore and 10% off on the classes. So it offsets, you've recouped your monies long before but if you've taken one class. And those monies go to supporting the center. It all still goes to supporting the center. It could be for the purchase of books. It could be for the, providing, the ring binders. It could be supplies. It could be all sorts of things, but it does all go to support of the center. It doesn't go to any particular person. It does go to supporting the center. And again, you recoup your $35 and, if you buy 2 books in the bookstore, well, I guess it would offset it for a while, but, buy a couple books and take a class and you've recouped it. So, Catherine, did you want to add?
She's exactly right. You take a couple of classes and buy some books and your discount has exceeded $35.
Exactly.
And I think the reason that I don't think that they've always had, and we don't think of it as dues, we think of it as active member fees. Because after all of this time, there are a lot of people that are on our roster. And we haven't gone through and just, okay, I think this person passed away. I mean, we occasionally do that. But it helps us to identify the people who are active and who
Active
actually
members.
are participating. That's really, I think that was the initial reason for it. I think originally in the bylaws, it basically talks of active people as being those who come and those who do give money to the church and those who are part of the organization, as opposed to someone who just moved away and forgot about us, but their name is still on the roster. It's more that than it is just money. And if you're truly active, taking classes, sharing with our books, then it actually doesn't cost you anything.
Right. Does that help? Okay, perfect. Yes, Catherine, she wanted to have the microphone. Thank you.
So you spoke about this being a center,
Yes.
as opposed to, I don't know what else, but can you define what makes a center for spiritual living?
Yes, I'll tell you, there's some focus ministries, there's travel ministries, there's prayer groups, etc. This is a center because it's a physical building. It offers classes, it has a pastor, it has support staff, it has staff ministers, it has sound people. It's an established place. So it is, and like we were saying, it's been established here since 1947. So that's what it is. I mean, that's what the difference is of a center. Like some folks will have, some folks do church in a box. Like they will rent a place, and I know several people that do that on the East Coast that do that. They'll set it all up in like a small strip mall area, set up their sound, etc., like that, and at the end of the service they tear it down and they go. So they have their rent, but they don't have a lot of the overhead like this. So the center here it's an established structure, it's a building, and we offer classes and kids classes, etc. Does that pretty much cover it? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Well, I thank you for taking the time and hope you enjoyed it. I always love. I probably have seen that Ernest Holmes video. I can't even tell you how many times. Probably 50 times, easily. Yeah, or take a ham sandwich and a glass of milk and turn it into bone and flesh. I love that. I always think of that ham. He always talks about ham sandwiches when we're hungry. So I thank you for your time and consider membership. And if you have any questions beyond here, if you see me, next week in the foyer or Reverend Catherine, you can ask us questions. If you want to fill out the membership form and turn it into the front office, so be it. So there you go. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.